Next on Italics, we'll join the Coalition of Italo-American Associations for their monthly dinner meeting, where Tony Avella, City Councilman and founder of the Italian-American Caucus, and I were invited to speak.
I do want to thank you for inviting me to come down here tonight and talk about some of the issues that we as Italian-Americans face and before us in the City Council. First of all, as Joe mentioned, I was actually surprised when I got to the City Council in January 1st, 2002, that in the entire history of the City Council, there had never been an Italian-American caucus. When you think about all the other ethnic groups that have had caucuses for decades, the fact that Italian-Americans just had never gotten organized, I found amazing. Obviously, some of the fact was due to the fact that Peter Vallone Sr. was the Speaker of the City Council, and he obviously took care of all the Italian-American organizations. When he left, and we also had Rudolph Giuliani as mayor, when he left, there was no citywide elected official of Italian-American descent, and all of a sudden we had a vacuum. So when I came in, I met with my colleagues, and we formed the caucus, and since then we've been trying to do our best, not only to promote Italian culture and heritage, but even more importantly is fight against the negative stereotyping that we face in the media and Hollywood. Since we formed the caucus, each and every year we submit a list of budget items for the City Council to fund. And I can tell you there's a lot of money that gets spread around each and every year. Yet, when the budget is decided, and you look at how much different ethnic groups are getting, and then you see how much Italian-American groups are getting in this city, you would be embarrassed and you would be ashamed. Prior to the new speaker, when Gifford Miller was the speaker, we had made some inroads, and we were about to get to the point where we were getting a couple $100,000 a year to be spread over maybe 10, 20 organizations, which is not a lot. That's chump change. Under the new speaker, I have to tell you, except for money that we got for the Italian-American Museum in terms of capital dollars, it is basically zero. Zero. When you see a different organization, and God bless them, they should get whatever they want and whatever they need, gets $500,000, and a similar group that's of an Italian-American descent gets zero, that's completely unfair, and we cannot allow that to continue. And the funny thing is, we now have 14 members of the City Council of Italian-American descent out of 51. In my opinion, we are the single largest ethnic group in the council. And yet, I hate to say it like Roger Dangerfield, we get no respect. We really have to work together, not only to fight discrimination and the negative stereotyping, but to make sure that we get our fair share when it comes to all the organizations. It's been my privilege to serve in the City Council now since 2002, and we're all facing term limits. So it's really been a decision for me. What do I do when I have to leave the City Council in 2 years? And I've decided, it may be a big jump, but I'm going to be running for mayor in 2009. And I hope with your support to be able to do that, running in 2009 and take office in 2010. Thank you for the invitation to be here tonight.
We will fight, and I say fight, to make sure that the Calandra Institute exists. And we'll also fight to make sure the Calandra Institute stays its course. And we will fight to help you make it stay its course, Anthony. So understand this from the 141 organizations, and I really do mean 141 organizations, which we can rally support for.
There, for me, are two very basic, and I say basic, functions of the Calandra Institute. It has been for many years a depository of research materials, and that depository has grown over the years to constitute a true library. That library is sort of tripartite, and it consists of, I call in-house, the Calandra collection. There's another collection called the Saraceno collection. The Saraceno collection is something that the Calandra Institute inherited, I think, in 1999. There are 13,500 volumes of Italian history from basically the Risorgimento, from the mid-1800s to almost contemporary, that deals with issues about Italian history and with a specific interest on Italian legal history. It is a collection that is extremely important, not only for those who deal with quote-unquote Italian history, but for those who deal with Italian-American history. And I hope in the next 2 to 4 months we will finally be able to say we have a library we can open, and when we do that we will let you know, and we're going to have a big party to celebrate that opening. But that collection is extremely significant. Another collection that we have that is also extremely significant is what we inherited from Philip, I think it's Victor Canistraro, who was the first distinguished professor of Italian-American Studies at Queens College and the Calandra Institute. And when before Phil passed away, he bequeathed his personal library to the Calandra Institute along with his many papers. And that's our third collection.